hand used to ache sometimes and swell. Grandma's hand used to lift her face and tell her, she'd say, baby, Grandma, understand that you really love that man. Put yourself in Jesus' hands, Grandma's hand. Grandma's hand used to hand me a piece of candy. Grandma's hand picked me up each time I fell. Grandma's hand, boy, they really came in handy. She'd say, Matty, don't you whip that boy. What you wanna spank him for? He didn't drop no apple core, but I don't have Grandma anymore. If I get to heaven, I'll look for Grandma's hand.
Hold on, stay strong, and serve. It is not what you say. It is not what you hear. It is not that you have been far and near. It is that you pray for strength and mercy. It is that you hold on and serve and give God the glory. Days seem long. Nights are always dark with despair. No one comes to the Father who does not care. If they're faced with trouble and cannot seem to get out, crying, screaming, and shouting is not what it should be about. You must hold on, stay strong, and serve. Just do His will and remember His word. It is not what you say. It is not what you hear. It is not that you've been far and near. It is that you pray for strength and mercy. It is that you hold on and give God the glory. So you think it's over? You're tired and weak? But isn't it comfort in knowing that our God never sleeps? He knows your trouble. He knows what you're going through. He has an answer just for you. He says in His word you should pray and serve. He says in His word, I will deliver thee. But first and foremost, you must believe in me. It's not what you say. It's not what you hear. It's not that you've been far and near. It is that you pray for strength and mercy. It is that you hold on and serve and give God the glory. No matter how hard it must be to get through the test, you can count on Him to bring victory to your soul, and you will be blessed. His plans for you are far more than you can imagine. Maybe you just don't understand why this test had to happen. But focus on Him and not your own understanding. Do His will of love, compassion, helping those in need. Those are the things that show our good deeds. The light will shine through you always if you continue to hold on, stay strong, serve Him, and pray. Well, good afternoon, Wayne listeners, and thank you for joining us today. Speaking of the tongue, my name is Rita Harden. I am the author and poet of Speaking of the Tongue, Words of Spiritual Poetic Inspiration. And today I just want to first say that I'm so grateful for all of the calls and prayers for my recovery as I went through a medical procedure, and I want to thank everyone out there that just prayed for me and my family. Thank you so much. I also want to thank those who filled in for me. Lawrence, that works here at the station, and my husband, Chef Elton. I want to thank them both for a wonderful job that they did in covering and bringing you some great information and heartfelt words of their own. It was good. They both were good shows, and I thank them. Now, we've been busy. We've been busy still, even though I wasn't here. We've been busy, and we are continuing to work on our youth voter education registration rally through our organization and movement, Community Advocates in Action. And a little later, we're going to talk more about that. But today I'm excited. We've got some guests that we're going to talk to via the telephone. So today you can sit back and enjoy wonderful telephone interviews. And then we will continue on with our show. And so let's get our praise on. I'm excited, as usual. Be patient with me. We're going to call our first guest, and his name is Herbert Smith. Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Hey, how you doing?
This is Rita Harden. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. And yourself?
I'm doing well, and I'm here at the show, and thought we'd give you a call and have an opportunity to chat with you just briefly.
Okay.
Great. So, Mr. Smith, you and I have talked several times in over a few weeks now, and Before we get into any conversation, I want to ask if you'll just tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, about me?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm 81 years old.
He's 81 years old. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm the oldest of my mother's kid.
Mm-hmm.
There's 15 of us.
Okay.
All of us finished high school. Several went to college.
Wonderful.
When I got out of high school, I was drafted in the Korean War. I stayed there for 2 years. And then I left from there and came up here to Chicago. And I went back and forth for a couple of years. And then I got married in 1957.
Okay.
And I worked in the factory in 1959. I went into a drywall apprenticeship, and I worked as a drywall finisher for the next 35 years.
Wow.
I built Brown Building, and I came through that time during the early civil rights part was going along when you had a lot of discrimination as far as the building trades here, and I call it all across the country, really.
Mm.
And I had 5 kids, which was the oldest one is a girl. Then I had a set of twin boys, identical, and then I had a boy and a girl twin.
Wow. Twins running the family, huh?
Yeah, twins went heavily in the family, but I lost one of the identical boys in a car accident. He had a car accident when he was 19 years old.
Okay.
And the other one, he's Kenneth. One was named Kenneth, the other named Kevin. Kenneth will be 52 years old come October.
Wow. You don't sound 81.
Yeah, but I feel it.
I understand. I believe me. I know. But that's amazing. You were in the Korean War.
Yeah, I was drafted in 1952 to 54.
Okay. Well, what we're doing here, we have a series. We do a set of series throughout the shows, and this particular series that we're doing right now is the Entrepreneur Educational and Empowerment Series. And I thought that this would be just a wonderful thing to have you talk with us just on, in educating us on certain things and also empowering us. We have talked, you and I, a lot about politics. And, we just had this, the DNC and the RNC conventions in the last couple of weeks. And we have an organization here, which is Community Advocates in Action, which we are dedicated to getting young people educated, registered to vote, and to vote. And I just would like to ask if you could just talk about the importance of our young people, your feelings on that, and getting in the process.
Yeah, well, see, the path to doing, in my estimation, the path to success is through education.
Yes, sir.
And unless you get that, but that's got to be pounded into that's got to be pounded into the kids. But the parents had a responsibility.
The parents,
had a responsibility. Hold on just one second. Y'all go back in back. Kevin, go back. Go back there. But anyway, the kids need to be educated. That's what we were. Even though we came up in segregation, parents always stressed education. And the one thing that I missed doing, because you couldn't be ahead. See, when I got out of the military in '54, we had 3 years through GI Bill to claim schooling. Well, I didn't see any future of going to school, especially no more than just being a teacher or something else. I knew I wouldn't cut out for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I lost that opportunity. Had I known that civil rights was going to open up opportunities further down the line, a few years later, I would have went ahead on and went on to college.
I see.
But since I didn't do that, I decided to go into the building trades.
Mm-hmm.
And we had opposition in the start because what you had to do was prove yourself.
I see.
The thing that I always try to tell kids is, don't ever sell yourself short. If somebody else can do it, you have confidence that you can do it too.
Yes.
Don't have to take no shortcut or whatever. Because during the time that we started into this, a lot of people here, especially in the white community where you had expensive homes, would doubt whether you was able to do the work or not. Until finally, we did enough. It was enough of us that stayed in there long enough to finally we was accepted into it. Then they didn't question it.
Nice.
You know how it would be that you would make the biggest investment you're going to make in your lifetime a home. If you go up to somebody to a house that cost even back then it cost $200,000 or $300,000, you want to know whether that person was competent to do that. Because, like I said, we were finishing wallboard, so whatever mistakes and things that happen in there, you walk in daily, you'll see it. It's very, very desirable.
Yes.
And the thing of it is, the only thing was that none of the kids, even my kids, they never go behind you to try to go into the same craft or learn the same way that you learn, to advance themselves.
I see.
And I found out that if you don't want to do nothing, you might as well not waste your time trying to teach anybody anything, because they're not going to learn anyway. They got to want it before they do it.
Well, this is true. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and see, the only way we're gonna get ahead as a race, we're gonna have to create wealth ourselves.
Yes.
And that's what we're not doing. I've seen a statistic about 4 years ago, I think around the time Obama got elected, where it was said that if you divided among all white families the wealth of white people, they would be worth about $88,000 per family.
Mm.
If you did it to the Hispanics, they would be worth about $7,200 a family. If you did it to the black, it would be worth about $6,000 a family.
Wow.
That's very, very wide disparity between wealth.
Yeah, I remember seeing that article too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, we got to learn to patronize and cooperate with each other rather than downing each other and spending your time waiting on somebody to do it for you, or you take your business to the other side.
Right. Right.
It might cost you a couple of dollars more sometimes, but and sometimes maybe you can't. But if ever you can, if you got a business down there, whenever they can, they should come and service your business before they're going out to somebody else.
This is true. This is what we need to do, is to serve each other, and patronize each other, and work with each other to build our own wealth. This is very true, and you hear a lot of people talk about this all the time, from different shows that are talk shows, and persons that are motivators and speakers and even persons who have businesses that try to get folks involved to get their business started in this kind of field. Mm-hmm.
We see the other thing, like around here, we got a couple of guys that went into the food business, into barbecue, actually. Charlie Robinson was his name, Charlie Robinson Barbecue. Well, what you got to do is that you can't just, in business, you just can't go out there and service like they used to say back in the 60s and back in the 70s, where we opened up a business for black people. No, you open up a business for everybody. You put it in a location that everybody can feel safe to come there, because money is the same.
Yes.
And the thing of it is, you're in business to make a profit. And that's the other thing we got to put. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you got to be where that you're going to service all of the people. It ain't about like or dislike. It's about business. And that's how you succeed, because we only have limited amount of resources. And the same thing is just like the white community. They don't open up business just for white folks. They open up business for us and everybody else.
That's right. That's right.
And we got to get away from that stuff. And that was back in the 70s when they was talking about small business people in the Chicago area. We opened up businesses here for the black community and the black community. Just say you open up a business, don't specify who it's for. You know? Because once you do that, you limit it yourself. And also another thing you got to do when you're working around people is don't. My grandmother told me, used to tell us this all the time. She said, don't judge or hate a person that you really know about what they are. Just don't take it for granted. Just that this person is this or this person is that, because I noticed during my working life, you meet a lot of good people out there that will cooperate with you or help you or patronize you. The thing of it is, you have so much conflict until you want to see what kind of bag you're coming out of before they open up.
This is true.
Yeah, because I was working with a guy, and then too, you got to have a cooperation. See, I didn't go into business, but me and two other guys were working together. Now, I myself had the construction experience. Guy's uncle come in with it. He has construction experience, but this guy had a good head for promoting business. In other words, he was like he could sell. He could sell. But the thing of it is, he come down to the point that he thought that he didn't need us, even though we were the one that got it started. So then he turns around, starting out on his own, picking up just what kind of help he can pick up, that kind of thing. He got successful for a while. In fact, the business at one time, he was close to $1 million on paper. But then, by him going to this exterior help, going out there getting a job, not doing it right, he slipped from that status all the way back to the street.
Wow.
But you see, the thing of it is, if the two of you together, that one person, each one of you got a different expertise, but if one's got a better business than the business here than the other, let that one be the speaker. Yeah.
Well, you all got to work together. Everybody's got to, whatever you do best is what you should be doing.
Right. As long as he or she don't try to take over command of the thing, because what you should do, if you talk with a person on a business level, you let one be a spokesman, because they can't say, well, this one said this one and that one said that. Then you come back to the other two or three people you're in partner with, and you discuss it there, and then go back.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's a process and there's a procedure. But I also want to talk a little bit about, and I appreciate you're expounding on entrepreneurship and the importance of it and what it takes, especially for particularly the African American people. And I wanted to talk with you, as I said, with our young people trying to as we begin getting them registered and educated on voting. We saw a lot in these last couple weeks on just what we're faced with and choices that we have to make in this upcoming election.
Yeah, well, see, the thing of it is, we need to get out there and vote, because this is very, very crucial. This is the first time you had an election that had all kinds of money that was unknown from where it come from, that were put into this election. And then the other thing of it is, they're not only funding the presidential election, they're funding local election.
Yes.
And the thing that they could do would be out there is fund people that will work specifically for them. Not because, see, what is happening in politics now, people don't go to Congress nowadays for public service. They go there for a career. Whatever advance their career, that's what they're going to do. It started back years ago. You got these catchphrases and all this other thing that's put in there. You started back now to say, well, when they get down to a situation like this, they find somebody to blame. Well, you probably remember back when Nixon was running along. You had the religious right. You had the religious right, and you got the religious people now involved in it, the so-called religious right, and then you got the Tea Parties and all. But remember started the moral majority?
Yes. Yes, Jerry Falwell, yes.
Yeah, that was in the second term, the moral majority in the second term. Well, who is the moral majority? That's just like putting your finger in a skull. You can't put your finger, you don't know what numbers they are, you don't know how big they are, you just make a statement out there.
Yeah. It just sounds good.
Yeah, it's good catchphrase.
Uh-huh.
So then who was the moral majority? Then, by him getting into position there, then he started college in Lynchburg, Virginia, and then he had the church that he pastored over. Mm-hmm. Then you had another politician, evangelist, was Pat Robertson.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Both of these was in the religious side, but it was always about the moral majority as a hidden group of people down there that you couldn't put your finger on, but they had influence.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing of it is now, just like Obama coming in now, there's no way he was going to straighten it out in 4 years. Roosevelt didn't straighten out the first depression out in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing of it is now it's got down to the point that at least you didn't have the money flowing into politics back in those days that you got now. Now is let's put somebody up there and have a blame game. Instead of just saying let's work together, because it was intentionally to derail him and what he was going to do. Because they came right out after the election. The first thing they said, some of them said, was my priority is to make sure he don't get reelected.
Right.
I mean that my priority is not to represent you; it's to represent the agenda that I have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, this is true. And that's exactly what, we've heard a lot about that lately in the last few days.
Right, exactly. Uh-huh. And the thing of it is, see, on the Republican side, they really didn't lay out any plans. They just laid out accusations and generalities. But then when you come back to where Obama, since he was that president, he had to have a plan. He had to lay out a plan.
Yes.
And he laid out his plan. Now you got to judge between his plan and what's suspect or what the other's going to do.
Well, the thing.
Go ahead.
The thing is that you people have to remember that the president just makes policy. Right. Now it's up to the Congress and everybody else to vote it in and get it done. But if you have a lot of obstruction or you have people who are in disagreement with you, then there's going to be some problem.
Yeah. Well, you see, you take before civil rights came through, when they was coming through civil rights. You had a Congress back in those days, and some late president that believed in compromise.
Right.
See, one of the main I would say one of the main people, one of the main movers of the civil rights movement came along as far as in the Senate, the United States Senate, came from a Republican from this state, Herbert. But Herbert reached across the line with Democratic senators, and they forced a compromise to bring civil rights about. Well,
I'm sorry, what did you say his name was again?
Herbert.
Okay.
Herbert was a Republican, and the other senator we had from that state at that time was Paul Douglas. But anyway, Herbert helped lead the fight for civil rights in the Senate due to the fact that, like back in those days, they believed in compromise. I don't get all what you want, you may not get all well, we're going to compromise on what
work something out. Yeah.
That is right. See? But see, now the Republican House has stalled and said we're not compromising on anything.
Correct.
John Boehner say, "Well, I'm not compromising." Then he'll say something up to the point that you think you got something going, and the next thing you know, he sidestep out.
This is true.
Look at the budget crisis. The budget crisis went right up to the last minute.
Well, we're getting ready to face this party all over again with this budget situation, because at the end of the year, we got the Bush tax cuts expiring, we've got unemployment expiring, and I think a few other things. I can't remember what the other two are, but this is going to come to fruition again, where we're going to have this big fight or whatever is going to happen here.
Yeah, well, you see, you look back at it. You got three people up there. You got John Boehner, speaker, right?
Uh-huh.
Then you had Paul Ryan, and then you had Eric Cantor. Those were the three. Every time you've seen it come up, if John Boehner was going to make a speech or something, if you look on the monitor, you'll either see Eric Cantor standing to the side.
Right, of course, yep, right there with them.
Paul Ryan to the side.
Mm-hmm.
These are guys that want Boehner's position. Now, whether Boehner can compromise, he got to act tough, whether he really was going to be tough or what not. But see, just like the road bill. See, they wanted to pass out a bill for the roads. All right. You remember when they went over there and they found it across the Ohio River, connected Ohio to Indiana.
Right.
To Kentucky, not Indiana,
Kentucky.
There's a lot of structural things that it needed repair. That's not the only thing in this country need repair. Look what happened in Minneapolis when the I-35 collapsed of no maintenance. There was also another collapse down in St. Louis on I-64. Well, the thing of it is, it doesn't affect bridges so much in the south as it do in the northeast, due to the fact that you use a lot of salt up here that you put on the roadway, and you got these reinforcement and steel rods in this concrete. And after a while, it's going to rust down to the point that it gets unsafe.
Well, this is the whole idea that, of course, we know that there's been a jobs bill out there, and particularly this bill to start to work on roads and bridges and within the cities, even the schools, and even implementing with that bill, as Obama talked about in his speech Thursday, is job training. Because a lot of people now, when you got such high-tech things going on, a lot of people who are out of work are not familiar with these kinds of things, and that's where the job training will come in. And
see, then another thing, if you put people out there to work, does it make sense that you're going to have more tax revenue coming in? And if you got more tax revenue coming in because they got payroll taxes that's coming in, you also got more spending to do, more money to spend out there.
That's right.
That's going to create more business because there are people can bring more money to the table.
That's right.
So unemployment, they wanted to hold it down because the numbers came out the other day wasn't that great. They want to hold it down, and hopefully that they can hold it down, and that will try to propel them over the top. Because once they get there, they got a chance to either try to create some jobs or not create some jobs, or either they got 4 years to decide which way they want to do it, what kind of law the thing they want to pay it. Because when you went from a manufacturing nation to a service nation, you automatically almost figure out that you're going to lose a lot of jobs and things, because a lot of people that could go into the education system would be into the manufacturing sector.
Yeah.
So now you see everything come in from overseas, from China. China, Vietnam, and all the other countries around the world, Mexico and whatever, is because the profit is better because they pay their people next to nothing. Just a percent on the hour, not even $1 an hour in some cases. And the other thing they were making there one squeal about was repealing the minimum wage guarantees. Why would you really repeal the minimum wage?
Yeah, I mean, it's not enough now.
See, Canada has a $10 minimum wage. France has a $12 minimum wage. And Australia has the highest $16 minimum wage.
Wow.
If those countries can do it, why should this country be able to do it?
Well,
It's because people like Walmart is spread all over the country will not unionize. They will not.
Yeah, well, that's a lot to have to do with it. It is the union. Yeah.
Yeah. See, what they're going to repeal is what happened in 1935 when Roosevelt got passed the Wagner Act. That allowed people to go out and form organized labor. And they fought it. The peak of organized labor was in the 50s. After that, it started declining, down. And really, what put the death deal into it when Reagan went after the Petco work. They got rid of them, and that went down. And now they have to teachers, police, and other people. They don't want anything organized because people. What make me think about people is, all right, now you may not like the union, you may like the union, but the only reason why that a lot of people in the earlier years got paid a decent salary is because they didn't want you to join the union. So as long as you had a union there, that means you had to pay somebody close to union wages, a union scale. Now, once you get rid of the union, you can drop it down because you got no a threat there.
Yeah, it's almost like being in a at-will state. I mean, you can be fired at any time in an at-will state. Don't have to have a reason. Whatever tickles their fancy. If they want to fire you, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, now I understand that because I was a union, and I understand that sometimes you have bad apples in the union, but then the union only is going to be as good as the membership demand that it be. So therefore, you should have rules in there that people that want to take and just use it, abuse it, then they got to have some kind of a rule to go by.
Well, from what I see right now, you know, the unions are pretty strong right now. They talk about the ground game that they have for this election all over the country. You're talking about over 400,000 people, boots on the ground, and getting the message out. And, you know, if anybody is really passionate about seeing this president get in for another 4 years, it is the unions. Because they definitely need that. They need that bounce and they need that boost. Because if these governors in these states have their way, there will be no unions.
Yeah, you see what happened there. I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think the union organization union membership now is about 12%, I believe.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that dropped down from the peak in the 50s when it was between 35 and 39%.
Mm-hmm.
That was the peak.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happened was the same thing about women. See, before World War II, there was no women in the workforce.
Mm.
All right, before World War II, only 1 in 8 Americans had a chance to go to college. Men, I'm talking about men. Only 1 in 8.
Mm.
Right, after World War II, the GI Bill came along, it upped it to 1 in 50. See? Okay, now, when the war was going on, you didn't ask the person anything. I would say that the union was strong because you had to produce that war material in order to win World War II. You couldn't stop down on strikes and that kind of stuff. So
no, you couldn't. You had to get that.
The unions during World War II got strong. Women got in the workforce during World War II because I had a aunt used to work with Douglas aircraft, running rivets in the aircraft wings.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then you had kids that would get men coming back from war getting educated. That was the first time that any of them in their family had ever went to college. Then they got a chance to send their kids to college, which is what they call the baby boomers today.
Right.
They got a chance to go up.
Uh-huh.
But before then, they didn't have those opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And for the wealthy people, the top 1%, the working class, they always was against organized labor. They never kept chipping away, never quit chipping away, little by little by little by little by little. So they got that chance to really break it.
Mm. Wow.
And I used to work with guys. I had a back operation in '78, and I had to sort of pick where I went back to. So I used to work for a non-union guy that I was had been my apprentice. He learned from me,
Mm-hmm.
and I just went back up for a couple 3 years just to run out to quit. And you hear guys out there, I remember they trying to organize him. Now you hear guys there saying, well, they ain't never done that for me.
Yeah.
But the only reason why they was there, you had a chance to make a higher wage. If it had to been for them, you'd be working for a lot lower wage, same as me or anybody else would be.
Yeah, and the one thing I want to close with you on, and I have appreciated this conversation with you because it's educational for me, especially when you hear about the past and what took place, how things were put in perspective and how people lived up to today, and I just
Can I interject one more thing in there?
Sure.
Harry Truman faced the same thing that Obama faced.
Okay.
He had a do nothing Congress.
Do nothing Congress, yes.
Right. They didn't give him a tournament chance to win the election. All right. The thing was that when he went to the Democratic Convention in 1948, he had what they call a plank in there. They call these different planks in the platform. They had a plank in there saying, you got to give the Negro his civil rights, because he made a speech. He said, give the Negro his civil rights. But before then, he had made a speech. He said, you got to give the Negro his civil rights, because if you put him down in a ditch, you got to put a white man down in the ditch to watch him, and both of them is in the ditch.
That's right.
So when they presented that to the 1948 Democratic platform, all of the Southerners walked out, and Strom Thurmond out of South Carolina formed the Dixiecrats.
Oh, so that's how the Dixiecrats came up.
That's when the Dixiecrats came up. When the Dixiecrats first came to talk, because even in Roosevelt didn't do too much. See, even from the early part of the 30s all the way up into the 70s and the beginning of the 80s, both the main committee in Congress was chaired by Southerners back and back and back.
Mm.
They wasn't changed. So
Mm.
he has seniority over most all of the main committees within Congress.
Mm. You have a lot of history and information that, I mean, I could talk with you and for hours and just enjoy and learn something. And I know that our audience, from what they've heard, have to be as fascinated as I am, particularly at 81 years old. You know, at 81 years old, it's just amazing. And I hope that when I'm 81 years old, I can do the same thing and bring back and talk about.
One more thing. The people, the young people and the young kids, we're gonna have to teach them one thing.
Okay.
The person you owe the most is yourself. Nobody owes you as much as you owe yourself. So quit sitting on the sideline saying, well, somebody owes me this, somebody owes me this. Ask the question, what do I owe me?
Mm.
Because you're the only one that can improve or disapprove of your own self.
Well, I'm going to close on that note, and I want to thank you so much, Mr. Smith, for joining us today.
It's good talking with you, so we'll get a conversation sometime in the future.
We sure will. We'll be calling you back as we get closer and closer to this election. I'd like to hear from you again, and I'm sure our audience would as well. And thank you again.
All right. You have a good day, and it's good talking with you, and, keep the good works going.
Thank you, sir. And you take care.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What an very interesting man. Wonderful gentleman. I'm just in awe with that, because a lot of times you think you know everything, and nobody knows everything, but you can certainly learn, a thing or two. You can certainly learn a thing or two and listen to someone with wisdom and experience. And here we're talking about a veteran at the age of 81 years old, and mind is sharp and on top of things, and can talk about this future, what's happening right now, and looking into the future. So we just thank Mr. Herbert Smith for joining us from Chicago, Illinois, and it is my wish that we will have him back to talk with us again, and we'll have a photo of him, and you'll get to see him, and we'll share some more of his experiences with you. I want to go on now and call our next guest, and some of you are familiar with his work. He is my brother, and his name is Mose Spotwood. And each show, at the end of the shows, we get to take a look at some of his work that he has done in helping me promote this show, as well as our organization, Community Advocates in Action, and my book. So we're going to give, I call him Mose, so we're going to give Mose a call now. See if Mose is here.
Yes.
Hello, Deborah. How are you?
All right, and yourself?
Good. This is Rita, your sister-in-law, calling you from the show. Calling to talk with your husband.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello?
Good afternoon, Mose. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, going well. I don't know if you had a chance to, if you've been watching the show or not, but we wanted to call and talk with you a little bit. We haven't had that opportunity, and you've been so wonderful with us and helping us with so many things. And I wanted to take this time to just show you off a little bit and show your work that you've done for us in my book.
Oh, well, you do, that's no problem.
Okay.
Trying to help you out any way I can down there. Can't be there, but politicals, everything's the same up here, basically. And my way of getting involved as much as I can. Any way I can help you out in the organization. And it's a pleasure.
No, I appreciate it. I'm gonna
to hear from you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. What I'm gonna do is if you'll follow with me. I don't know if you're watching the show or not.
I can't. No, I don't have it up.
Okay, that's okay, because I've got some pieces here of your work that I put up, and I'm just gonna, I'm gonna put them up so the audience can see, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm putting up here, and let you kind of just talk about what you felt when you did the piece. This piece I'm putting up here is the piece that says to come and join us at our voter education registration and NAACP membership drive, where you put up a number of students around registering to vote, and also you have here the history. You said you have the history of the Voting Rights Act. You have a piece. There's Rosa Parks and some other black and white pieces there. What were you feeling when you did that?
I think basically it's about the young folks, and a lot of them really don't even understand the background behind the Voting Rights Act and all the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to put those images up there. Maybe they can relate to these young folks back in the day, as they would say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Doing this voting thing.
Doing this voting thing, yeah.
And try to get a connection that way with them. Because young folks, they're all about those hand machines and phones and whatnot, and it's hard to catch up with them sometimes.
Yeah, I understand.
But, I figure that's the way, if you can get enough eyes on those flyers and whatnot, that they'll pay attention.
Well, they definitely got our attention, so I'm sure that it will get theirs as well.
Because it's really important for them. They like I say, a lot of the young folks now really don't understand. But I think with the generation that's coming up through the president here, he's bringing a lot of attention to it.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah, and I think they're catching up. They're catching on.
Well,
but it's that other party there that's doing all it can to, defeat that.
Yeah, well, we're going to have that. We know that. That's why I look at this next piece that I'm putting up here. And this piece, if you'll give me a minute, this piece talks about, freedom, equality, and justice. And again, you have the black and white pieces where it looks like the girl was walking into the school for the first time after desegregation.
Once again, it's about the young folks.
Mm-hmm.
Not to repeat myself.
No, not at all.
But that's really important, and I'm trying to get them to connect with, like I said, what went down,
mm-hmm.
how we got to where we are today.
Right.
And understand how important it is. I can remember in my late teens and whatnot, it was a thing like voting.
Mm-hmm.
What is voting?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's got it. That attitude is gone, and it needs to stay gone. It's just so much more than the president.
Yes.
We're talking about the Supreme Court. If the Republicans get their way, it's going to have a big, major effect on all these young people in a way that a lot of them, I think, don't understand.
Or don't realize. Yes, that's very true.
We're talking about the president, which I hope, and pray that he does get reelected.
Well, we know what we have to do, right? We have to keep it moving and keep everybody involved in this process and make sure they get out and vote.
And we need to pay attention to some of the lower parts on the tickets, like our congressional and Senate seats.
Mm-hmm.
Those are very important also. But overall, we just got to get the folks involved and bring them up.
Now, there's one piece that I really love, and that's the one you did for us with regard to our organization, Community Advocates in Action. And you say our mission is to educate, train, and register 18 years old and older voters into the electoral system. And you know, you've got a great comic piece part in here where you say if you don't vote, you won't count. Get that ID, y'all.
Right.
Which is cool.
Like I say, you know, that's what it's about. I'm trying to, you know, really do what I can, even up here in Philly, to get young folks, you know, to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be what they're going to be living in. And it's going to be what it's going to be. And you're going to be a part of it, like one of the speakers, I believe, said at DNC, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So,
yeah, say that again?
If you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
You on the menu, okay. And we need to be at the table. You know, they talk about a lot about the kitchen table, the kitchen table discussions about people talking, how are we going to make it? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And, you know, we become the voices of the electors, which is your next piece that I have up here. And it says, Voices of the Electors, November 6, 2012. We need all the young people to get registered and vote.
Yes.
What a nice piece. What a nice piece.
That's, you know, I can't just say it enough. It's that the young people, I think, and I hope, that they are beginning to realize, even, you know, through the rap artists and the performers and whatnot, they're giving a lot of strong effort now to get the younger people out. But it's really important that, you know, they get involved.
Well, you know,
because, you know, with this voter ID thing, what they're trying to do is that.
Yes.
And then you got, you know, a lot of folks running around here, like I say, they're not interested because it don't concern me, you know, and we got to change that attitude.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that maybe right now they don't see that. They don't see the big picture. Right. But when you start thinking about if the other side prevails here, and you start thinking about the first thing that's going to happen is, you know, there won't be any unemployment benefits. I believe that. You know, as I was just talking to Mr. Herbert Smith in Chicago, you know, I was saying to him, here we're going to be coming to the end of the year, and the Bush tax cuts will be gone, and they're due to expire. I won't say they'll be gone. And so along with the unemployment benefits and other issues where this clock has run out. And depending on who's in office when that expires, is going to have a big impact on young people, not just young people, but on all of us.
Yeah, that's why, you know, around the country, you know, it's kind of late now. And I don't think they're going to be able to do it if they take the House back. That's a big problem there because, you know, the president has had a bill job sitting on their, you know, in their laps for like over a year, I do believe now.
That's correct.
You know, and everybody know what time it is.
Yeah, we don't. You know, they're just obstructing, and they continue to obstruct. But that's why we have to continue to get the word out, to keep people fired up. And what a wonderful thing they did in the DNC convention, in reminding us of the things that he has done. And, you know, and because you don't see that, because if you're only getting little sound bites from the mainstream media news, you're not going to hear those kinds of things. You're not going to know about those kinds of things. You're only going to hear that, and you're so frustrated, and all you hear is, oh, the president's job numbers are down. Well, if somebody hears that and they're in the middle of no job, that's all they hear. They don't know anything else. They haven't educated themselves. They're not trying to be out there, you know, trying to find out about anything because they're too frustrated in what they're already in. They're in depression. They don't have job. They're not feeling, what do you want me to come learn something, understand something? I just want a job.
See, that's where we need to go. We need to go there and get with that attitude because that's what the other side wants.
Right, and that's why I have this next piece up here. Trayvon Martin will never vote.
Yeah.
And so people need to understand that here we have these laws in place already, stand your ground law, in Georgia, in other states.
Yeah.
And this is the result of what could happen with these laws that are just don't make no sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. And as a result of it, here we have this young man who'll never see daylight again and never will be able to vote.
Right.
And the rally and the cry for justice for this young man and what happened in doing that, but I never seen so many young people in such masses to come out for this young man when he was murdered.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and once again, you know, I think they're understanding. You know, it's a heck of a way to learn the reality of what's going on. But you know, at least in my mind, anyway, is the reality of what's going on. And for young people, I think it's like a shock to them.
Yeah.
You know, especially when they understand that these laws exist right where they live.
Uh-huh.
You know, and they could be, you know, a victim of
the same thing. That's correct.
You know, the same thing. You know.
And this piece says there are 18 states in this country with the law that allowed Trayvon's killer to shoot him and claim self-defense. Georgia is one. Brothers and sisters, black, white, brown, yellow, if you're 18 years young, you must do your part and vote. If you're about to turn 18, to have a big part, you have a big part to do in getting involved in the system by educating yourself about the system, and when the time comes, register and vote.
Right.
You know, and so if we can rally these kids, these young people, the way we rallied when this young man died and we were out there demanding justice, just think of the thousands of students, young people, that would be at the voting polls.
Yeah, you know, and like I say, you know, we're just not talking about the president that's, once every 4 years?
Yeah, just general.
We're talking about these elections in between. We had 2 or 3, you know, elections for Congress and congressional and state seats and whatnot.
Yes.
And we need to do some homework there, because that's the root of, you know, all these Republican state houses and governorships taking over. We need to really work on a lot of locally, you know.
And that's why we put together our organization, which is Community Advocates in Action.
Yeah.
And you know, and I've got this piece up where you've done our logo for us, which we're excited about, and we've got so many things that we're going to do with banners and T-shirts and all kinds of other things that we're going to be doing with this particular logo. And we thank you for the design, and we thank you for your support in helping us to get this done.
Well, you know, it's my pleasure, Rita.
Yep.
You know, like I said, up here in Philly, me and a few others, we got your back up here. We do what we can, spread the word.
Well, we sure appreciate it.
Have people pay attention and even pick up a few pointers or so from you.
Well, that's wonderful.
While we're doing it.
That's wonderful, and I just can't thank you enough for all you do for us here, and all of the people here at the studio. We all love you. We appreciate all you do, and I just want to thank you for it.
And you let everybody know that Deb and I, you know, we're former ATLs. You know, down in
yeah, you were down here for a little while.
Yeah, so I got a little bit of roots in there.
yeah, you do. So anytime you come here, at least you know your way around, huh?
Yeah,
well, thank you.
It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you again for joining us today.
I wish I could have got you up on the computer this afternoon. We could have probably went to those pictures a little smoother.
Well, we did well. We did fine. We did just fine. The main thing is they got to see them and hear, you know, your reasoning and your passion for what you're doing, and that's what's important.
Well, truth be told, I started doing all this when you started your book.
Yes.
And when you got the show.
Yes.
And you asked me to do a thing or two, and it just grew from there.
Well,
in actuality, that's where I really started this, and you know, I just prove every time I do anything for you. So it's a blessing both ways.
Amen.
I'm getting a lot of experience myself.
Amen.
It is fun.
And I know it's fun.
Yeah.
And I thank you because you be handling some things on the Facebook page as well, and putting a lot of information on there about us and helping us to get the word out about voting, and we appreciate you.
I just try to keep it informational and educational.
Well, thank you. Okay, well, thank you, Mose. We'll be
baby.
talking with you later. You take care.
Elton, I say hi.
I will.
All right, baby.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, you know, I got a little excited there. I got so excited I forgot I needed to come over here and talk, and you can't see me. Can you see me now? I know you can. But what a wonderful, wonderful show today. To talk with some good people and just get a feeling for how good God is and bringing and enlightening us and empowering us. And that's pretty much what the show was about today. Empowering us and making us all realize how important it is about voting. Our vote is so important. Young people, old people, whatever. We all have a say and a voice to be heard, and it is so, so important that we all get out and vote. And you know, I'm just asking for any Wayne listener and our audience, if you'd like to come on this show and just talk about your feelings about this process, or you'd like to come on this show and bring your children, your young people, you are welcome. All you need to do is call us and let us know you'd like to come, and we'll welcome you with open arms. I want to just close with just showing you here briefly. This is the Youth Education Summit flyer that Mose, my brother, just designed. And it basically is inviting everyone to come out and join us on our Youth Education Summit, September 29th, 2012, at Memorial Drive Presbyterian Church, 5140 Memorial Drive in Stone Mountain. Now, we will be there from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we will be serving a continental breakfast and a box lunch for our young people who will be attending. And we're going to do what's called Politics 101. So we're going to engage them and educate them. And while we're doing all those things, we're going to be registering them to vote as well. As our president said, you can go online and register. If you haven't registered, you can go online to Gotta Register. Not got to, Gotta. Gotta, Gotta Register. And you can also go to Gotta Vote. So until next week, we thank you again for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. We'll be out in the parking lot registering and getting people registered to vote and having our rally and fundraiser. Please join us. And thank you again for today. May God bless you, and may God keep you, and may He make His face to shine upon you.
As it spins around, just don't let the spin get you down. Things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Keep your self-respect, your manly pride. Get yourself in gear, keep your stride. Never mind your fear.